Hello everyone, Resonance here, and today I'll be giving you all my commentary on Game 4 out of 5 games played between the two teams, TyRanT Legends and NC and Friends Arma. As you are probably aware, these matches are part of the War is Coming tournament that is currently being hosted on Voobly, and you can find more information on it, as well as links to download the replays on Aoe2 Zone in the video description below. I will also have links to watch the rest of the matches with my commentary in the video description as well. In a moment, I'm going to go turn back on the overlay, which will spoil the results of the previous games, so make sure you watch those first. And of course, your feedback is appreciated, so feel free to leave me a comment and tell me if you enjoyed this. Alright, without further ado, let us jump straight into Game 4, which will be played on the map Nomad. Now, before I introduce the players, I am going to take a brief moment to explain the map to you guys while the players pick a location to settle. Like I mentioned in Game 1, Nomad is a map in which each player spawns without a town center or scout cavalry, and instead has their 3 villagers spread out across the map. Players will have to quickly pick a wise location to settle, but amidst the chaos, it is common for teams to become separated, and for players to end up sandwiched between members of the opposing team. The key difference between Nomad and Land Nomad, of course, is that the regular Nomad map is mostly surrounded by water, and has several large lakes littered throughout the area. These bodies of water are often teeming with valuable fish, so both teams will have to compete for control of them in hopes of gaining a huge economic lead. Now, onto the players themselves, we have the team NC and Friends Arma settling in the top corner of the map. At the very tip, we have Andorran playing as the Green Spanish. Just a bit below him, we have Sniper1 playing as the Grey Vikings, who will be substituting for Nilpfair from the previous games. And just a couple feet below him, we have Skittle playing as the Yellow Mayans. Lastly, near the left corner of the map, we have Arma playing as the Teal Persians, and quite separated from his team. Now, on the other hand, we have the other team, TyRanT Legends, which has instead opted to spread themselves out across the map rather than grouping closer together. So in the left corner of the map, we have DauT playing as the Purple Mayans. To his right, we have Jordan23 playing as the Orange Chinese. And at the bottom corner of the map, we have Cab playing as the Blue Vikings. And last but definitely not least, in the far right corner of the map, we have the Viper playing as the Red Persians. Right off the bat, you'll notice that every player has decided to put down a dock and then send their other 2 villagers to go build their town center. So the Viper had a villager on this side of the map, and he decided to build a dock here, and he took his 2 villagers that were closest to each other to go build his town center on this side. Even though his dock and his town center are on complete opposite corners of the map and very, very far away from each other, that's okay, because in general, your dock is not really in much danger of being destroyed in the early game, so it's okay if they're separated. What you want to do is you want to put down the dock right off the bat, because remember, when you're playing the regular Nomad as opposed to the Land Nomad, you start with a bunch of extra resources, so you'll have enough wood so you can put down a town center right off the bat and a dock. Whereas on the Land Nomad map, of course, you must start with the lumber camp and work your way there. So by putting the dock down immediately, you basically start the game with 2 town centers in a way, in that having the dock produce fishing ships is like having a second town center that is producing villagers, and of course, fishing ships are very efficient at gathering food from any type of fish that is not the shore fish, so it gives these players a huge, huge economic lead, and it also means that they get to save wood in the long run that they would have had to invest in early game farms by making these fishing ships. So, and this is also especially helpful if you don't have any food resources near you. Now, the thing is when we look at the positioning of the players' docks, you'll see that there's a lake, like right here, for example. Why are the players not docking here? Why is the Viper's dock placement and DauT's dock placement perfect? Well, because when you look at their vision, they can see that the edge of the water is very far from the edge of the actual map, which means that there's a much larger body of water here, and that means that there's a higher chance of there being a lot more fish. The smaller the body of water, the closer it is to the edge of the map or any other type of land, the less fish there will be. If we look at this lake right here, besides a couple fish like down here, not too much fish in here. It's almost all shore fish, and that's the type of thing you want to avoid. So no one's going to dock in a pond this tiny. They're going to look for the water's edge that is farthest away from the actual edge of the map. So this is a great position for it. This type of dock from Skittle, again, the players just have to put it where their villagers spawn. This is still good because it's the edge of the water rather than an isolated lake, so there's a much higher chance of there being more fish. But it's, again, closer to the edge of the map, so there will be less fish there than we have for the Viper and DauT to share. You know, still docking in a sort of isolated lake like this is fine because it's still connected to the edge of the map, and as we can see, there are less fish there, so it definitely matters where you put your dock, but players will, you know, they won't dilly-dally, they will put down their town center, they will put down their dock almost, like, immediately. Once they find some food resources and they find a somewhat suitable place for a dock, they'll put it down, because it's much better to put your dock in a suboptimal location than to walk your villagers across the map and dock in a much better location. It just takes too long that way, so... Every player here putting down their dock, getting out a bunch of fishing ships. And one thing that I think is important to note is that DauT really doesn't have much in the realm of food resources here. If we look at the way his map is set up, he's already eaten his sheep, and he's basically just down to wood. So he's going to have to go really, really heavy into fishing ships here, which is really important because... You know, when there's a water map, like when you're playing on a water map and there's a lot of fish there, players will almost always go for the ubiquitous galley rush. You see a little bit of cute little deer laming going on. Maybe Jordan will repay the favor later. But yeah, usually if there's a huge body of water with a lot of fish in it, players will, you know, try to get to the feudal age pretty quickly, go for some galleys, and really just compete for that control of the water in the early game. It makes all the difference. Once you get control of the water, the game can really snowball out of control, especially considering that you only have access to one type of one type of ship in the feudal age, the galley. So it's pretty hard to make a comeback on the water. You get map control, you get an infinite source of food, well, near infinite, it does run out eventually. Very, very substantial, so Jordan here gonna return the favor and lame some of Arma's dudes. Very, very cute from both players here, as right off the bat we see a little bit of a rivalry. And speaking of a rivalry, I mean, Arma is already in deep trouble. I know you're thinking, Resonance, it's not even 9 minutes in. How is Arma in deep trouble? You're crazy. Well, you're half right. For one, here's something that's interesting, is that these two teams have a very, very different playstyle right off the bat. Like, this is great. This is what I love seeing in competitive Age of Empires 2, or just Aoe2 in general. Both teams have a completely different plan here. Look how close together NC and Friends and Arma are. We've got Skittle right here, Sniper right here. Like three out of 4 team members right next to each other. They're so close. They're like a totem pole. We call it the totem pole strategy. Right on top of each other. And look at Arma. He's all the way over here, and he's right next to 2 very hostile neighbors. DauT and Jordan, very huggy people, not going to take kindly to somebody stepping into their territory. So he's already surrounded. It's really bad too, especially because Cab is, you know, over here to the right. No one can really help him. If anyone needs to help Arma, they're going to have to walk straight through 2 guys. It's gonna be tough. So my eyes are going to be on Arma this game, as he's already gotten a fist fight with DauT here. DauT trying to put down a dock over here, which again would be a nice position for it, but it looks like he's walked straight into Arma. As look at the villager fight of the ages here, but it looks like Arma's villager is just too strong, and DauT's going to send another villager in to try and take this villager out. But oh, 2-on-1, that's hardly fair, as Arma's going to have to pull out. So already some intense action here. Perhaps Arma will try and wall this dock off and just be really, really, really cheeky. A lot of idle time for each of them. Ooh, Palisade Wall coming down. Is he going to stop DauT in time? Nope. Oh, looks like DauT is actually going to get that, he'll probably get the dock up, or will he? Okay, he's actually probably not going to get the dock up. He's going to get the dock up. Alright, he's going to get the dock up, he's going to lose the villager. That's fine. So yeah, like I said, he's surrounded. My eyes are on Arma this game. This game is basically going to be decided by how I think Arma can handle this situation. This is precarious. Part of it, I don't know how much of this was a conscious decision on their part, because, you know, a lot of them did happen to spawn, you know, in the general same area. You get a lot of pros and cons from this type of approach. This totem pole strategy, the totem pole approach, gives you the benefit of, you know, joint defense. Everybody on your team is a lot easier to defend. You know, you wall this area off, you know, and you can just basically all, you know, collectively wall as a community and all protect each other. So everyone is much easier to defend there. But on the flip side, you got a lot less room to build, so I expect, you know, things get cramped as the players try to put down a lot of farms. And not only that, while this might be a stone utopia over here with, I don't think I've ever seen this many stone mines for one team, just in the history of Age of Empires 2. This is absurd. This is their only gold mine. I mean, this is their only safe gold mine, at least. And there's 3 guys up here, and while, you know, six little things of gold is quite a lot, it's not going to be enough to sustain all of them. I mean, they can always expand to this gold down here, but it's far away, it's hard to defend, and we got this gold over here. So once again, like in game 1, Skittle's going to have a lot of gold problems this game. In fact, everybody on NC is going to have gold problems except for Arma. But Arma's got bigger problems. He's got two very scary gentlemen on his left and right that he's going to have to deal with. Perhaps NC has a plan here. Maybe they're just going to sling him. That's what I hope they do. Otherwise, I can't possibly foresee Arma coming out in one piece here. Looks like the Viper and Cab going to be up to the feudal age. Sniper as well up to the feudal age. Something I've noticed is looks like he's put 2 docks on this lake, which is really unfortunate as he's going to start producing galleys right about now. If we just give that a little look. Yeah, he's going to be making a bunch of galleys. He's going to make 4, and, well, this sucks. Happens to the best of us. Viper didn't dock here. He didn't dock here. Why? Because he knew that, for one, he's the only guy in this area, so why would he dock here? His teammates would never be able to back him up. So he decided that he would dock on the right side where he would at least have Cab to back him up in case he got 2v1 on the water. Because he learned from last game, or he already know this, but 2v1 on the water, not so great. Not even the Viper can do it, guys. Don't do it. So he didn't dock on that in this little lake because he knows that none of his teammates are in proximity over here, so, might as well not do that. So Sniper's going to get no value out of his galleys whatsoever. Very, very tragic as he's trying desperately to find some sort of enemy on this. Nope, just Arma. And, When I look at this right now, DauT not up to the feudal age yet. He, of course, is going to be pretty slow to the feudal age, seeing as he had an extreme lack of proper resources in his just map generation. So he's just starting advancing now, and looks like Skittle gonna start plopping out some galleys, and this is also really bad too because Arma is gonna be plopping out his own galleys as well and just backing him up. The Viper alone cannot 2v1 the water again, so I doubt he's going to really do that here, and plus he has to deal with Sniper's galleys, which will be popping out of this lone dock on this side. So, looks like DauT's in deep trouble, and yet again, we see NC and Friends and Arma actually pulling ahead in the early game. This is going to be huge. I mean, if we take a look at the population right now, look at DauT. He is way ahead of everybody with 47. This might be the biggest fishing boom I've ever seen, like, ever. He has so many fishing ships, this is absurd, and this is literally all of his food gatherers. If he loses these fishing ships, guys, he's done, he's toast. Oh, 1 ship down. I mean, look at this. We had the 47 to 20, like the 29 population right there, so if DauT loses these fishing ships, he's screwed. It's going to really slow him down, and the Viper looks like he's not going to be backing him up here. No galley production here because Viper's opted for a fast castle age. So maybe he'll make a fire ship now and try and deal with this. Now, when it comes to water combat, guys, it's supposed to be a rock, paper, scissors style things where your galleys are supposed to be countered by fire ships. So fire ships beat galleys, demolition ships beat fire ships, and galleys beat demolition ships. Yes, there we go. Nailed it. However, it doesn't really work that way. It's more like galleys beat everything if you get enough of them. However, when there's a small amount of galleys, the fire ship here from the Viper, great decision. He will be able to take out these galleys because there's not enough of them, unless Skittle can micro like a god. But I'm assuming that there's a little bit of a lag, so that's gonna be a tricky one. So I think it's a great decision from NC. Like seriously, a great decision. Whoever's doing the shot calling for them knows their stuff because, really prioritizing the water over here, working together, ganging up on DauT. I mean, let's look at the population again. Suddenly, DauT, not so mighty anymore, down to 41, Skittle up to 47, Sniper up to 49, DauT falling behind, not so great. He has no food resources on land. It's going to be tough. But the Viper here is going to back him up with some fire ships, so NC actually kind of in trouble here. We'll see if they'll be able to take out these fire ships, so it looks like they're holding their own here. One thing I want to mention before the action gets too thick, God, these games are really hard to cast, guys. Sometimes they take me multiple takes because casting a 4v4 is really hard. There's just so much stuff going on, so these can be pretty time-consuming to pump out. That's why sometimes it takes me a while to get these. But I want to do a good job because there's so much stuff to talk about. One thing I want to get out of the way is we talked a little bit about the benefits and the cons of NC's approach to this game. They've got this the totem strategy, right? The totem approach. They're all right next to each other. They can defend each other collectively, but they lack a lot of resources. They have a shitload of stone, but they lack building space. What else do they lack? Map control. When you spread yourself out across the map like TyRanT does, well, look at the Viper. He has the entire right half the map to himself. That's ridiculous. So basically, he can go for a fast castle age completely uncontested. Why? Because he knows. He knows he's so far away from the enemies that he's in absolutely no risk of ever being rushed. He's just so far away that by the time the enemy troops get there, it's not going to work. And you know, poor DauT just having a really rough game as his fishing ship's just gonna get routed here as here comes Skittle yet again, doing work. So well played here from NC, getting an early game lead over TyRanT Legends. Some of the best players that Age of Empires 2 has to offer. These guys, no slackers. If you watch competitive Aoe2, you have seen them, and they are crazy good. So seeing NC pull ahead in the early game yet again is amazing. Just goes to show that they, you know, are no slackers themselves, and some great players. Still, though, I worry for them as the Knights from the Viper are going to come in here and do some heavy damage to Skittle as he is not prepared. Gonna have to cancel that market, and this is very substantial. Why? Because Skittle needs that market to advance the Castle Age. He needs a blacksmith and a market. He needs at least 2 feudal age buildings to be able to advance to the Castle Age, and that's really going to delay his castle time. And that's not good, because who's up to the Castle Age? Basically everybody on TyRanT except for Cab. Cab went really heavy into galleys, and we might see some slinging from him, probably some slinging from Sniper as well. If we swap to Arma's perspective, I'm assuming he's getting slung, just judging by the fact that I haven't seen really too much from Sniper yet this game. And yep, all right, there we go. Sniper with the sling. Arma's gonna have to 2v1, and again, about the map control, this area all on the Viper. He can just boom freely as he wants, and Cab also very well protected, able to just wall off this entire area, just really keep to himself. Very easy for him to defend. And it's unfortunate that Arma just happens to be stuck between all of them. Really great quick wall though on his part. Wow, that's really well done, especially with the delay. So well played, Arma. But yeah, it's unfortunate that he happens to be boxed in here. So it's gonna be really tough. Like, they're banking on this sling from Sniper to be enough so that he can 2v1 against some of the best that Aoe2 has to offer, and that's asking for a lot. Can Arma do it? Oh, we're gonna see. He's been sent a lot of resources, but boy, is he floating a lot of stuff. I mean, he's floating a ton of golden wood. He just can't spend the resources he's being tributed fast enough. We need more unit production facilities pronto. If he's gonna keep up with Jordan, who, I mean, Jordan has a larger army, and I don't believe he's being slung. Yeah, but you know what? We're gonna check real quick. As it looks like Aoe2 has. Sorry guys, it's not letting me resize this one moment. Boom! Alright, so we check out the economy stats here. Yes, okay, so it's just all on the Arma from Sniper here. Alright, so. Whereas, no, okay, so Cab has not started slinging yet. We might see him do that in the Castle Age or something like that. But in the meantime, Arma has smaller military than Jordan, who's not being slung right now. So that bodes very ill for NC. They're gonna have to, you know, pull a miracle out of this one if they're gonna take on these two guys. As we got the standard, you know, monks in response to the knights here. Oh, usually a good idea. He's got to be careful though. As the scout gonna come in here, those units do resist conversion. Camel will scare it away. I do like the decision of both players to open with camels, just predicting the knights from the opponent. Camels do counter knights, and it's just a very good response here. Gonna get this camel for free, it looks like. A little bit of Raiden shenanigans going on as Sniper's economy getting harassed. He's slinging really hard. I would like to see these galleys perhaps do something, maybe, you know, move down just a bit, try and attack the Viper's villagers, just harass his economy, do something with those. Still more galley warfare going on over here as Cab has a ridiculous amount of galleys, is just going to clean up the water on this side. So while, you know, NC was looking real strong on the water, things falling apart for them rapidly, as all these fire ships from DauT and the Viper should be able to actually take out Skittle's galleys. So this game, I guess, is a massive PSA for fire ships, not as bad as you think. Isn't that a slogan, guys? Fire ships, not as bad as they think. Definitely will encourage you to use them, hopefully. Or hopefully not. Anyway, we got a castle down here from Andorra, and going to be protecting that one gold mine. Very important that gets protected. He's going to go for Conquistador. It's pretty standard from the Spanish. You won't usually see players putting down a castle and spamming their unique unit unless they're maybe the Mayans or the Spanish. Maybe a couple other exceptions on occasion. Why? Because it takes a long time to produce, you know, units from only one military building like the castle, and you can't build the castles, you know, like really early, as it's quite expensive. However, Plumed Archers and Conquistadors, very strong units stat-wise, and, well, they're very mobile, so they're still great at raiding. This castle here, if it goes up, great conversion here from Arma, and I love the decision on Jordan's part to put this castle down. If it goes up, well, Arma's screwed. Like, there's no way he can kill Jordan. And Arma has to do something with this sling right now, because as the game drags on, it's just going to get worse and worse for NC, as Sniper just heavily slinging right now. And, well, you know, he's not really in this game, I guess. Like, he's doing an amazing job slinging, don't get me wrong, but he's not making any military units. He was making some galleys in the early game, didn't really get to do too much with them. The water is already lost, and, you know, that basically means 200 more population for TyRanT. So, you know, NC is on a clock here. The reason the strategy is called slinging, so you get to the feudal age, you put down a market, and you start tributing resources to your teammates. It's called slinging because you're supposed to slingshot your teammates through the ages, give them some sort of advantage, you know? Really snowball off that. You kind of have to snowball off a sling, otherwise you know, you're in deep, deep trouble because you run into population disadvantage as the game goes on. Arma here, desperate. Again, he has to do something with this sling. He's got tons of cash. He's Bill Gates. He needs to just spend it all right now. Cab, what I like to see, Cab went to the Castle Age. This is good. Why? Because he should be able to defend this, even if a battering ram comes. All right, there we go. Here's the battering ram. Speaking of the devil, the battering ram is here. So, here's the difference, is when Cab is playing like super defensively over here, booming, you know, I expect to see him going for like something very defensive, you know, maybe start tributing his teammates at some point soon. He's in a much better position than Sniper is because he can actually defend his own base. Sniper cannot. Sniper needs assistance from his team, and Doran had to keep a lot of conquistadors over here to go defend, you know, Sniper's economy because Sniper can't do it himself. However, Cab is in a position where he can actually defend his own economy. He can actually build a siege workshop, make a mangonel, and kill that battering ram, whereas Sniper would not be able to do that. So I really like the decision on Cab's part to go to the Castle Age and not really, like, go heavily into slinging as we usually see in team games. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Cab, yeah, gonna be slinging Jordan a little bit, but he went to the Castle Age. He hasn't been really committing to this, and I love this decision because he'll be able to hold his own here. He's gonna add another layer of stone walls, build a siege workshop. Arma needs to make something happen. He's going to try and find a hole in Cab's defenses, but Cab walled up his base extremely effectively, using his buildings as makeshift wall-offs. This is what I love to see in Age of Empires 2. Although, Arma here making a great play, looking for the hole in the defense, he found it. It's not a stone wall, he can actually kill these houses. Will Cab respond in time? We're going to have to check back in a second, as there's a lot of action going on over here. As Skittle, so much to keep track of. Skittle over here, once again, goldless. He needs gold, guys. Someone send Skittle some gold. As he put down this town center, it's going to get routed. Arma's entire army is trying to get into Cab's base, and Cab here with a fantastic quick wall-off. He's going to just barely get it in time. Arma denied yet again. Not going to be able to get in here. Hasn't been able to do anything with the sling, unfortunately. Skittle just lost a town center. He's looking pretty weak right now. Skittle is very, very far behind. Going to put down a Desperation Castle in an effort to stall for time. This is good. The castle will buy him enough time, hopefully, that he can do something. Because, yeah, Skittle went really heavily on the water, which they ended up getting thwarted by the Viper, going for a fast Castle Age into fire ships, which he wouldn't really have been able to do, except that NC decided to go for the totem approach and keep themselves all very, very close to each other. And that way the Viper was able to go for a fast Castle Age, completely, you know, uncontested. All right, really good to see that Sniper is actually making great use of these galleys. He's going to be able to kill a couple villagers and piss off the Viper, make him build a few fire ships, get some value out of that. But yeah, since the Viper had the own part of the map to himself, he's just able to go for fast Castle Age, get out some fire ships. So well played on TyRanT's part, able to respond to the galley aggression, and they just recovered quite well. Like, it really did make DauT fall incredibly far behind. Not much he could have done in that case, because, you know, NC is all about trying to throw TyRanT off, put them in a situation they're not comfortable with, one that they're not prepared for. A great mangonel shot there is going to scare away Jordan. Yeah, they always want to put TyRanT out of their comfort zone. So what they did is they were like, all right, let's just go really heavy on water, and we're just going to shut down DauT's economy, just cripple him. They know they had to do that because Arma, you know, was going to have to 2v1, so they had to like make it like a 1v1. So they had to take out DauT out of the game for a little bit. And that was fine and dandy, except TyRanT was prepared for it, and they got a couple fire ships out there. Cab went really heavy into galleys, and they managed to actually, you know, bring it back. And Arma here is getting absolutely positively destroyed. He's basically going to get routed. The artist formerly known as Arma as, well, we got the 3v1 over here, and I don't care how much you've been slung, you just don't have the population to deal with this. And, you know, even though Arma hasn't been able to spend all that cash yet, he's going to need a lot more unit production facilities to take this on. And even then, I don't think he can possibly get a large enough army for this. And yeah, so once this castle was put here from Jordan, which really will secure this gold mine, prevent Skittle from ever taking it back, they sent all of their army over to Arma's base because they know, they look at the scores, they're like, well, Skittle not too scary right now, so They're just going to take Arma out of the game before he becomes a big problem, and this castle here will deny any aggression from NC on this side. Andoran also looks like he's falling pretty heavily behind, but looks like he's decided to start transitioning into a Sling after the Conquistadors really didn't get to do too much. He had to keep a lot of the Conquistadors to defend Sniper in the early game because Sniper can't defend himself in the Feudal Age. So he had to keep the Conquistadors there, perhaps a little bit of idle time as well, not quite sure. Either way, he fell just a teeny bit behind the opponents, and well, he's gonna go heavy into Slinging, and when you're behind, you've got to take a risk. As it looks like Arma's gonna go the mass exodus, the long march, gonna evacuate all of his villagers, run all the way to the right side of the map, and he's gonna try and settle right in front of Cab's base, who I'm sure has several objections to this unwanted neighbor. Cab is gonna be like, get off my lawn in a couple seconds, as I'm sure he'll bring some mangonels over there as soon as he notices. Now, this is looking pretty bad. Like I said, when you're behind, when you're playing against some of the best that Aoe2 has to offer, you gotta take a risk. You gotta do something to surprise TyRanT, and boy has NC been doing an amazing job at this so far. Like, they've been doing like a really great job of taking TyRanT out of their comfort zone. What they've been doing is doing like very, very unique, interesting strategies that TyRanT's not prepared for. In this case, they're going for the Mega Sling. We'll call it the Mega Sling. They've got two people slinging Skittle right now. So their hope is that Skittle can mass out enough of those ridiculous, fully upgraded Mayan Elite Eagle Warriors, which are very hard to kill once we see the, DauT has the correct reaction. Ah, Maya, you! Once you get the El Dorado upgrade at your castle, which adds, 40 HP to Elite Eagle Warriors, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I have to say, I love the unit choice here from Skittle. I think this is great. Why? Because we look at the two guys he's going to be facing over here mostly. Jordan, Chinese, making almost exclusively Chukonus. And, DauT has been making almost exclusively plumed archers, so, yeah. Eagle Warriors have 4 pierce armor, which means they take, like, 4 less damage from range attacks, in this case 4 plus 4, so 8. Very, very good against ranged units. Not completely ideal against Chukonus, because Chukonus fire multiple shots, but yes, very, very good regardless. He will be able to do a ton of damage to Jordan's economy. Well, they're putting all their eggs in one basket. We'll see if it pays off, as Mega Skittle over here, gonna see if he can overpower the entire TyRanT team. Wait. Oh, God. Okay, so it looks like the Viper resigned. I don't think it has anything to do with Andoran raiding him. I'm gonna assume that it had nothing to do with Andoran raiding him. You know, when I look at the way the scores just shifted and Jordan just, like, shot ahead, I'm assuming the Viper, like, had to go, personal obligations or something like that, and that he didn't disconnect, that he just had to go or something like that, and he must have attributed everything to Jordan, so that's why Jordan is probably looking even more terrifying than usual, so that's an unexpected twist. Maybe this is the miracle that NC needs. You guys have probably been watching this the entire game, and you've been wondering, what is the miracle that NC needs to win this game? 3v4, baby! Take the Viper out of the game, literally. Just remove the Viper. They tried to remove him last game, but he was actually still in the game. This time he's gone. He's actually gone. So, you combine Mega Skittle with the lack of the Viper, and maybe you get the formula for victory? I have no idea. It's gonna be tricky. Arma here with a very, very cute watchtower. I love it. Very cheeky. Not gonna do anything. We got the 40-minute, tower rush action going on over here. I don't know if that was necessary, because what that's going to do is it's probably going to mean that Cab's just going to be like, alright, enough of this, you're done. He's probably going to send in a bunch of stuff, but yeah. It's looking pretty bad for NC, but maybe this is the miracle they needed, as I'm assuming the Viper had some personal obligations. I have no idea why he resigned, but, I think TyRanT will be able to clean this up anyway, as ridiculous as that sounds, because here's the deal. Arma's pretty much dead. He's not really going to be able to defend against this. The Viper still killing Arma from the grave. No real solution to these Knights right now. Arma just kind of out of this game. And we have 2 people slinging Skittle. And it's 40 minutes in. Now, if we look at the population, this will tell you why the game isn't going so well. DauT and Skittle, DauT, who has not been slung at all this game, has equal army size to Skittle, who has been sent a cosmic buttload of resources. Skittle has been sent enough resources to solve world hunger. And yet he has about equal army size to DauT. So that's making me a little bit nervous, especially considering that without some auditors, there's just so many guys over here. This is like double the amount of units in. And Skittle here gonna go for the last charge. Desperation attempt. He's gonna try and get the surround on these archers. Will he be able to do it? This is going to be tricky because these archers are just so clumped up together. You can see that they're like standing on top of each other. It's going to be very hard to get them surrounded. And this army just being gunned down. Oh my god, it's getting disintegrated. This is a slaughter. I love this castle position as it will be able to start shredding through those guys. But, I mean, for one, these guys are on a hill, so they're going to take a little bit less damage. And Eagle Warrior's dead. With that, NC's dreams of taking a game off of TyRanT Legends before the final Game 5 deathmatch rounds. No, that's probably game right there, as Skittle down to 65 population, floating 2k food, needs to spend it, doesn't have the resources, has no gold running out, Sniper going for the long march, mass exodus over here, not gonna get to the gold mine he desires. Things looking pretty bad. For NC, as they just don't know the population. What I would love to see from Skittle here are some onagers, the great equalizer. When you're behind, you're playing against someone with much larger army than you. Onagers are a lifesaver. You can trade one onager, one unit, for like 40 archers if you're really good and you happen to get a really lucky shot on your opponent. So I'd love to see something to deal with these, like maybe heavy scorpions even would be decent. What I like to see here is that DauT making a great play is going to take his plumed archers, use the natural terrain to his advantage, clump himself into the terrain, make it much harder for the enemy melee units to get the surround on him. That's very, very smart. You'll see players do that all the time with their Janissaries and whatnot, just to be a jerk and make the melee units really hard to deal with. So yeah, Chuko, since they fire multiple shots, don't really care as much about the high pierce armor, and these guys just all going to get gunned down. The population for NC falling apart. Cab dropping a castle on whatever Arma has left. He's just dead. Arma's pretty much dead here. They don't even need the Viper. I mean, like, obviously they didn't even in the early game. They don't need him to close out the game. And Jordan's doing work. Really, everybody is doing work. And what I like to see with this game is that not only did we get to see contrasting play styles really dictate the course of the game, but we also got, Jordan really got to show off this game and really just be one of the MVPs. Jordan did a lot of work this game, and in the last few games, he didn't really, get a lot of the action. And Jordan being a fantastic player, great to see him finally being in the spotlight and showing us what he is made of, as basically everybody on TyRanT here has gotten to have a really, really great moment so far this series. I'm pumped for Game 5 because Game 4 looks pretty over, as Skittle just doesn't have the army for this. Arma can only move his base so many times before he's out of stuff. DauT and Jordan moving in here. The Viper's Ghost is with them, cheering them on. No army from anybody except from Skittle, and one guy cannot fight 3 players, guys. It just doesn't work that way. Even Arma is slinging, the 3-man sling. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen the 3-man sling in Aoe2 history, probably because when it gets to about 46 minutes in, you simply just don't know the population for this. When you sling, you must get an early game lead, and frankly, they just didn't get to do too much with this. I mean, Arma was never really at any point, like, substantially stronger than Jordan, and, versus Jordan and DauT combined, he stood no chance. So, he had to, like, get to, like, the Imperial Age first or something. Like, he needed to really make something happen with all the resources he was sent from Sniper, otherwise it was just game, man. Really, without some onagers, I don't anticipate this fight going at all in favor of Skittle. Too little, too late. They're basically done. And maybe the Mega Sling just not the answer here. Cad being cheeky with some galleons. Yeah, I guess the Mega Sling guys don't know if it's really working. These guys just all gonna get gunned down before they can really do too much. And this is the end of Arma, as Cad gonna make some troops. So we can see here how the difference in play styles basically completely dictated the pace of this game. Part of it, I mean, I don't know how much of this was intentional, because, I'm just speculating here when I say that, I mean, I'm not sure why they all chose to settle so close to each other. It might have been because they all spawned, like, right there, or if it was a conscious decision. Tough to say. When you're playing these games, it's really difficult to make those type of split-second decisions. Everything is much easier to say in hindsight. But in this specific case, that strategy did not work out as well as TyRanT being more spread out. Since they were more spread out, they had more map control. The Viper got to do what he did in Game 1, as, ironically, the same thing as the Persians. Does it say war is coming? Oh, basically it does. That's very, very cute. I like that. See he didn't actually get to finish the war is coming with the Palisades over here. But anyway, giving the Viper all that breathing room to himself again, a huge mistake usually, as, you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. He got to boom up, get to the Castle Age really quickly, and just completely shut down NC's plans of ruining DauT's day. And sure, they did ruin DauT's day and really, really weaken him, but they still had to deal with Jordan, and Jordan here, well, was able to take on a guy who was tributed, presumably several times his own resources, and managed to hold his own. So consider me incredibly impressed. TyRanT looking really, really strong. Just that lack of map control was huge, and when we look at this, also Cad made a great play here. Before he started slinging Jordan, he went to the Castle Age first, so he was able to defend himself, meaning that his teammates did not have to go defend him. And Doran had this problem where he had to, keep his Conquistadors around and try and defend Sniper from the Viper's night raids. Whereas, yeah, they didn't need to do that. Also, of course, the map was a problem as well. It caused a lot of trouble for Skittle. Again, a lack of gold for NC, as well, they really only had one gold mine over here, and that thing's long gone. Every other gold mine that they have is not very safe, so that's what happens when all these players are sharing their resources. Just not enough to go around, not enough population either when you're slinging everybody. When you're slinging one person with 3 people. They didn't have too much of a choice in the end, though. Sometimes you got to make a gamble, and we can see that while it didn't work in this case, it was worth a shot, as it might have been able to surprise TyRanT enough, give them something they weren't prepared for, maybe take a game off them. Always a tough call. Incredibly well played from both players here. Now, this game was not quite as close as the last one. Not quite as close. But I still think it was a really good game regardless, because we can see, again, like I mentioned, it's all about the, contrasting playstyles here. The pros and cons. We can see that they each had their benefits. Some of them had their negative sides to them. And in the end, TyRanT was the one that definitely came out on top here. This strategy was not as effective as the other ones that NC brought to the table in the previous games, but it was very, very cool to watch. I don't think I've ever seen a mega sling of that, and I don't think I've seen 3 players on Nomad. Well, I probably have seen 3 players on Nomad just try and just group together, clump, and become like some sort of mega metropolis, but that's pretty redundant. Still, though, they didn't really work out too much in the end, and I have to say that TyRanT's decision-making, absolutely impeccable here. Looking real strong. I mean, this is why they are some of the top players. I mean, they're all amazing, and they're extremely well-coordinated, so even when NC brings out something new and unique and crazy, TyRanT still finds the answer. They might fall behind in the early game, which shows us that TyRanT is not invincible. Is not invincible. We've seen NC pull ahead at many, many points in these series. Like, they've consistently pulled ahead in the early game by throwing TyRanT off, by surprising them. In this case, they managed to just destroy all of DauT's economy here, just wipe them completely off the water, go really heavy on the water, and it worked out fantastically. They took a gamble this time by trying to create Mega Arma by slinging him really heavily, and then trying to create Mega Skittle and sling him really heavily. It didn't work very well. In the game before this, we saw them try to 2v1 the Viper on water by cheesing Jordan's villagers with a bunch of scouts. That was great. In game 2, we got to see a bunch of early, aggression with the transport ship where they put all their scouts in there. That's great. I want to see what they bring to us in game 5. I should be clear when I say that this is not technically a 5-game series. It's a 5-point series. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically, you get 1 point for games 1 through 4. Let me go update the scoreboard actually right now. I'll go do that. So TyRanT here, 4 points. NC, Friends, and Arma, 0 in this series so far. And then now what's left in the series is a best of 3 games death match, in which the winner of the best of 3 gets the final 5th point of the series. Depending on how long those matches are, they'll either all be in 1 video or 2 parts. And again, you can find links to all of those in the video description below when I finish casting them. Remember, guys, these series do take me quite a while to cast. I try to do a really good job. It takes several takes. Sometimes I have to watch the replay several times. And even then, I still see something new every time. Because casting a 4v4 is incredibly difficult. There's a lot going on, especially with players of such a high skill caliber on both sides. You never know what to expect. They keep me guessing. They keep throwing new stuff at me every time. The first time I watched this, I was like, what the hell? 3-man Skittle Sling? It's new meta, guys. So yeah, these can take me some time to get out, but I'll be working on them, and you'll be able to see the rest of the series sometime over the next week, I think. I'm going to be trying to record those as soon as I can. And yeah, I have to say the reception for this series has been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for the support. I'm getting a ton of views, like ratings and whatnot, and the comments have been just fantastic. So I can tell that this is the type of thing that you guys want me to do more of, and it's definitely the type of thing that I will do more of. These won't be uploaded as like super duper frequently, unless I get some time to go montage out a bunch of these. Perhaps if I'm doing 1v1 commentaries, I can pump those out a lot quicker, because there's a lot less going on. But this is the type of thing I'll be doing a lot more of, so make sure you subscribe if this is the type of thing that you would like. And between the competitive games, which I'll be sprinkling in on there, I'll also be uploading the usual live stream VODs. I do live stream Age of Empires 2 about every week. You can just head on over to my Twitch page, link in the video description to find my schedule there, and that way you can get in on that live stream. So I'll be uploading the VODs, uploading some competitive Aoe2, and then just various videos from other games. Pokemon, I'll be doing a couple extra Pokemon videos soon as well. So yeah, what a great game. Well played from both sides. Didn't quite work out as well for NC this time, but I thought this was an extremely entertaining game. I love watching Age of Empires, even when these games aren't super duper close, because you get to see something different. That's what I like about NC. They are not afraid to take a chance, try something new. This is not the 1v1 Huns war, that we all, I guess, know and love or know and hate. This is something different, something new. I love it. That's why I like War is Coming. There's a lot of innovation, a lot on the line here, and NC showing us that they're innovators, not afraid to take a chance. Who knows? They still have a chance, guys. They could still take a point off of TyRanT, although, is it going to be 4-1? Is it going to be 5-0? We're going to have to find out. Keep your eyes peeled. I'll be uploading it sometime over the next week. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I seriously do appreciate the support. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave me a like rating, as well as maybe check out the rest of the stuff on my YouTube page. I have plenty of other Age of Empires 2 videos there, as well as videos of other games, so if you like this one, you'll probably like those as well. As always, guys, your support is appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Oh yeah, and also, please do have a very awesome New Year and holiday season. Alright, guys. See you next time. GG, well played.